So this video will be about making a deck, and because it's really more for helping my friend. My friend is a returning player. I mean, he's not exactly an old player, but he stopped for a while and now he's trying to get back in the game. So I might as well help him build his deck because he sucks at deck building. His words, not mine. So, buddy, what do you want?
So I was really interested in playing the Oracle Think Tank last time, and I think I would like to go back to that. But as you said before, I really suck at deck building. So help me out.
Okay, but the thing is, we don't have clans anymore. We have nations now. So the clans are merged. For example, if you know the dragon ones, Kagero, Narukami, Nubatama, all that, it's all Dragon Empire now. Simple as that.
Dragon Empire. I see.
So Oracle Think Tank
So,
is Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. So as a returning player now, what do you suggest I use?
What was your previous favorite deck?
Last time I was using the Dimension Police one?
Dimension Police. So, okay, I don't think we have anything like that for now.
So, I think that I should try something new. Because, like, new gameplay, new style, so try something new, I guess.
Alright, what kind of gameplay do you want to experience?
I want it to be, like, a really offensive deck.
Okay. Do you want Think while you play?
Probably, Think, but, like, not too much.
Okay, how much do you want? Do you want to think one step in the future, two step in the future, or one whole turn in the future? Because it really changes things.
Let's just say 2 or 3 steps in the future.
Alright, so, well, since you were playing Oracle Think Tank, let's just go with that. So I'm gonna give you the basic lineup of the deck, which will... You know what, I actually have an older version of the deck, just not exactly updated yet, so I'm gonna use that. I'm just gonna remove all these. You know, at this point it doesn't really change anything because I'm literally removing everything. Okay, so basically there's a new concept called the right deck. So you know how we have the first Vanguard, which is basically the grade 0 you take out of your deck when the game starts?
Yeah.
So now instead of doing that for only grade 0, you do it for 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, in addition to, of course, the 0 one.
So does that make it easier for people to just spam grade 3s? Like, what's that guy from the anime's name?
You mean Morikawa?
Yeah. So is it easier for a player like, let's say, Morikawa to play in this setting now? Because, like, you can just spam grade 3s, right?
Well, at least he won't misgrade like hell, like he used to, but... Well, even though you can technically play like that, if you want, there's a deck that's tailor-made to be played like that, but it's not really recommended for the most parts. Okay, so here's a general lineup. Do you want this deck to be more offensive-oriented or defensive-oriented? I remember you said offensive earlier, but okay, let me put it this way. For triggers, do you like criticals or fronts? Because here's how I put it. In the case of a critical trigger, you really gotta think more than a front trigger because you need to allocate the critical effect and the power effect. Whereas with front trigger, it's really just everybody gets the power, full stop. In this deck, you get an extra power allocation, which is something you might need to think about, but you don't really need to think that much about it. So, which one do you prefer?
So I'm actually thinking about this. So I want to deal a lot of damage, right? But it's really hard to deal damage when your power is not high. So I'm still confused to which one I should put in.
Okay. If you just want high raw power for everybody, you just go with the front trigger.
I think I'll go with the front trigger then.
Okay, so we'll be meaning the front triggers. So
What is this trigger? The new one,
oh, it's
the
another
rainbow
trigger.
one.
It's basically just put one of that in the deck. You can't really do much about it.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna put 4 critical triggers in the deck because it has an effect, and because you can put in the soul. Not that you really need it, but 7 front triggers should be enough for the deck in general. Because if you get a crit early on, that's gonna score you some bonus damage. The thing about critical trigger and front trigger is, in the early game, critical triggers are super nice. You get to clear the game faster, you get to progress faster, at least the progress of killing your enemy. But you're also giving your enemy resources. The same cannot be said for front trigger. But in the end game, where your enemy is most likely gonna have some perfect guards and stuff, powering your Vanguard or just one of your rear guard will not make that much of a difference. If instead you get a
I
front
see.
trigger and you power your entire attack, well, you get multiple attacks with higher power, so that reduces the chance of your enemy being able to guard it all. Which is why, for me personally, I like front triggers. And I
Then
guess,
we'll go with the front trigger then.
yeah. So you're gonna have 7 front triggers, 4 critical triggers, 4 heal because duh, and 1 over trigger. As for the
All
grade
right.
1, now, personally, when I'm building a deck, I like to simp when I'm building my deck. So here's the question, would you like to simp or would you go strictly gameplay?
It's my, how do you say it? It's my rule in life that you have to enjoy everything, right?
Okay.
So if I'm going to play a Vanguard, might as well have people that are easy on the eyes. So, you know,
Okay, so you want to simp. You man of
never
culture.
said that.
You man of culture. Okay, so for the grade 2, you don't really have much choice because it's literally just this or that. The rest are like for other decks.
Alright.
For grade 4, however, you do have some choices. You can go with only the grade 4 that you're going to write, or you can also go for a grade 4 that you hopefully drag check.
Wait, grade 4?
I mean grade 3 that you hopefully drag
Oh.
check. You see, this grade 3, many people don't play this grade 3 on this deck, but for me, I like playing this grade 3 on this deck because if I don't have the resources in my hand, but I get to check the top of my top card of my deck and she's in there, I can just leave her at the top so I can get an extra attack in. It's a surprise attack. If I leave a card on top of the deck, enemy's gonna attack. Oh, that's a trigger. Okay, I'm just gonna count for that trigger. They're gonna guard more, so they're wasting cards in hand. But they're only counting like 2 attacks or 3 attacks. They're not counting that extra attack you can get in.
So this is like, this can be your ace in the hole in there.
Well, yeah, as long as you don't reveal it beforehand.
I think I'll actually use this
Because you
one
don't
then.
want to think too much, this adds the difficulty of thinking because you need to think, do I want to put this in or do I not want to put this in? Because when you check it on top of your deck, you'll be faced with this question. Do you want another possible trigger check or just a straight out a trigger check if you're checking more than 2? Meaning you're checking 3 or 4 cards at the top of your deck, you're gonna have to choose. But if you do decide you want to keep it for the extra attack or extra attack power, then yeah, you'll win. So this adds in that kind of choices you need to think about, but at the same time, you don't have to do this. You can run more grade 1s, which is also an option because, well, the grade 2 is like a no-brainer for this particular build, but the grade 1, there are much more choices. Now, you have 8 more cards in slots for this deck, and if you assign 4 of them to grade 3, you can only add 4 more grade 1. Or you can add 8 more grade 1s. So, what's your choice?
I'm still thinking like, it's hard, but I'm going to. What's your suggestion though? Because you have more experience in this game than me. So, what do you suggest I do at this?
I mean, as I said, personally, I like running this grade 3. and I have my
Well,
friend.
let's run the grade 3 then. We'll run that grade 3 and see how it goes from there.
All right.
And we'll test the deck. If it's not suited to my play, then I think we can change it.
Yeah, but seeing as it's late, if we're gonna test a deck, we're gonna have to test it another time.
Alright.
Oh, we got a question in the stream. The voice loop? Well, sorry people. This is kind of my first stream, so if stuff like this happens, I'm just gonna have to chalk it up to experience, try and improve it next time. But yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have my earphones or headphones with me right now, so can't do that, and I don't really want to set the BGM for now, because this is more like a casual conversation with my friend, and the BGM kind of gets in the way of that. My opinion on black people, I don't see how that correlates to this video's topic, but black people are cool. I've got some black friends too. It can be annoying at times, but it's fine. Black people's cool. So, about the last 4 cards in your deck, do you want to run 2 variations of 2 cards, or just, go 1 card at 4 copy?
I think I'll take 2. Uh, make it 2-2, because
Okay.
for variety.
Okay, this card, when you draw check a trigger, which you're gonna be able to manage most of the time, you can Soul Blast 2 and you can countercharge 1. And since this deck is gonna be using Counter Blast instead of Soul Blast, it's not really that much of a cost.
Mm.
I'd recommend running this at 3, but if you want to run it at 2, it's fine. Now, there is an option because we're running this particular card at 3, but we can run it at 4. The thing about this card is you get the Superior Call. Up to 2 units for 1 Counter Blast and 1 discard. So, yeah. We can, of course, add 1 of this and add 1 of this, so you'll be running 4 of this and 3 of this, and that finishes your deck.
Alright, we'll just do that then.
Okay, this is a simple deck. The playstyle is quite straightforward. I'll teach you how to play it on another time. Maybe we'll make a video about that too. That cool?
Alright, so I do have a question before we end the stream.
Alright, what is it?
So there are nations now, right? For people now, how would you explain the nations? So other people can also choose their decks.
Well, it's kind of difficult because each individual nations or series, because they have collab like Token Ranbu and Monster Strike, they have multiple deck builds, and the deck builds, well, they're different deck builds. They're played differently. If you want me to give you an example, it's kind of like in Kagero we have Dragonic Overlord, which focuses on Dragonic Overlord soloing everything like a boss. Or you have Seal Dragons, which is more controlled. You make your enemies get grade 2s, seal the grade 2's ability to intercept, and you whack them in the face. Stuff like that. And then there's also Bermuda Triangle, real simple. Prism, Coral, Pacifica, Riviere, or Troyes. Riviere's the main star, but Troyes is the key card, so that's a thing. Prism, Duo, and all that stuff. It's gonna have very different playstyles, so it's kind of hard to just explain it as a nation.
I think that might be an idea for your next video, maybe?
Maybe I might run over some of the decks, but maybe not.
Alright.
I'll think about it.
So, let's go back to the deck building right now.
Alright.
So, are we done with the deck?
Yeah,
or is there anything else? Alright, so anything else? Or do you want to end the stream here? Or is there anything else you want to do first?
I mean, it's really up to you. I'm just making this deck for you. I'm just taking the opportunity to do my first stream. Might as well. So, yeah. if you got any question about this deck or how it's supposed to generally play, we can do that. We can't do a test game, but we can talk about it.
I don't think I have any questions right now because I don't know how to play this deck yet. Maybe when we start playing the deck, then I can ask a few questions there.
Alright, alright. So, I guess that's it for this video, guys. That's it for this stream. This is my first stream. So, yeah. Nice. I got 1 viewer for my first stream. Wait, 2 viewers. Awesome. Delightful. So, I'm just gonna save this deck. I'm just gonna name it Friends Deck. And I'm gonna send it over to you. So, that's it for this video. Goodbye.